Hello everybody, Vicky here. I've just had a few days out of the room, in and out, cleaning, doing heaps and heaps of coffee staining, and it's Easter Monday in the afternoon, 2:30, and I thought that I would do something nice and simple that calms me down, gets me recentered and gets me creating again. So one thing I love to do is I love to play with scraps. I love recycling and I like repurposing things. So this is I've roughed it up, so I've deliberately sandpapered that so you can see some little scratches on it. That's to knock the shine off, just so that the glue and whatever media I use can actually stick to it. Now I went and bought some imitation gold leaf. I did have some, but who knows where it is. I've been fossicking around, cleaning out my store shed, cleaning this room. I probably should really do a little whiz round and show you my room. It's very full, there's lots of it, and sorry I was moving my hands, it's probably very annoying. So anyway, I thought, let's do something that doesn't involve cleaning, that is just fun. And I thought, well, you know what, I'd like your company. So we're going to start with this, and when I saw it I thought that's just really cute. It's a little bit bigger than what I would want it, so it is 5.5 by 5.5 inches, 14 by 14, and I thought that it would look really good as a notebook in a journal. So I want to keep that side. So I've got no measurements. I haven't thought about this. This is just like a, oh wow, look at that, we could use this. So I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. I think I'm looking at 4, maybe 4.5, because I want it to sit on a page of the journal. So I was just going to hack a bit off, but what I might do, I'll just grab my journal that I'm working on at the moment. I don't know, I've got upwards of 30 journals started. Pardon me, there could be more, but I stopped counting because I didn't want it to overwhelm me. So that's something that I'm working on there at the moment with those. So I'll pop that back. And this is a journal that I'm putting together, just going through slotting things in spots so I know that I've got them evenly throughout. Look, I love that. That is just so sweet. But more of it later. We're looking for a page. A blank page, anybody? Here we go, we'll use that. Now I want it to sit on one of these pages, and it mightn't actually go in here because this feels like it's getting quite full. So if I do it on this page, I can sort of like, yeah, it's all the good English here, girls. Hear it first. So this is the amount of measuring that we'll do. So the height's really good. So if I mark that off, say about there, yeah, we'll go there. So we'll just pop this beautiful little girl out of the way, and let's see what we've got. So we'll put this back under. Normally I'd just guess, but because I've sort of got this in mind for something that I'd like, not thinking, am I? That's okay, we don't have to. So I'm going to make it 3 3/4. So right, now we've got our working size. So this is going to be, and I kind of like it that it's not centered, it's just a little bit different. So I need to grab a piece of, so this is me when I am not working to a plan. I thought maybe you might like to see my process. I'll try and... Oh, there you go. I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. Just had a call. All good. So we've got our little piece of packaging, and I'm just going to... This is a piece of 12 by 12 that I coffee dyed, and I don't mind that side actually now it's been done. Now I'll have to be careful to leave that open. I've just glued where I didn't want it glued. So we'll get that down. I think I'll probably end up sewing around this. Get this lined. So if I put that just below. So I got a little bit enthusiastic there. So I've got it just below the fold. And we shall just cut around this. I hope everybody has had a beautiful Easter, that it was the Easter that you wanted. Quiet reflection and just thinking about who I am as a person, and am I like it just a, I guess, a spiritual check-up. So that was really lovely. I also, in my limited capacity, have got a lot of cleaning up done, sorted out, and it's sort of like a shell game. I cleaned up my store shed, which you couldn't get into because I just sort of like opened and threw stuff in, and so I went through that and sorted it out. And once I got that stuff that I just threw in there on the ground done, the actual bones of it was, but I just crazy stuff. Like I had like a big tub, one of the big plastic tubs full of recycled cardboard from the kitchen, and it's like I've got a 12 by 12 here with packaging boxes and different things to use to make tags and to utilise to try and limit the amount of waste we throw out. And then I had this huge great tub of it out in the storeroom, and it's like the thing about stuff from the kitchen is there's always going to be more coming, and by the time I used up everything that's in the 12 by 12 here, I would be like, oh, I'm getting a little bit low, I'll just save a few boxes and some recycled cardboard. And it's like Graham and I go to the theatre a lot, and we get lovely like programs, and I've saved those so that I've got things to collage onto and to reuse the images and everything that's in there. Well, I had another tub sitting next to my cardboard. Just once again, we still go to the theatre, so we're constantly, it's something that I get all the time. So there are some I kept because of the quality of them. I can use as a, like a glue book for all my bits and pieces. So I'm just trying to get that nice and sharp in there. I'm not too worried if it comes a little bit unstuck, because I do think that I will cover it. So right, so that's the inside, that goes up. So now we want something to cover this. I'm thinking what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to put it down on a page like that, have that there. I'll have a tie coming over the back, and I think that can be a pocket at the back, so we don't need to worry about that one. So I've got this, this is a Kaiser Craft, and it's ladylike, and it's 36 6.5s, I think they are. Yeah, 6.5, and they are just beautiful. and I might have multiples of this one because I just think it's so pretty. Now I've got the yellow behind, kind of need to get something that's going to go with that. So anyway, I cleaned up, I got rid of some of this stuff that I had out there. It was just crazy. So that was a job really needed doing, and because because my body is like it is, it takes me a lot longer to do things. See, I might have snookered myself a little bit with that yellow in the background. I think I thought I was going to do it with the coffee side up. So now I don't know whether or not there's actually a piece from this pad that's going to match the yellow. And that one's lovely too, but I'll be cutting where the... Okay, make a decision. So I find it easier to do it this way rather than go through the agonies of measuring everything. In this particular case, I think that it's because this is like a one-off. Although if I do measure it up when I'm finished, there's no reason why we can't cut. Right side. Yeah, sorry, I'm not too good at talking and doing, am I? So we'll pop you there like that. Okay, so how are we going? So you will sit like that. And then we've got and if I do it like that, it's all going to match up. Now, Graham and I have never been big on going away at Easter time. So like everybody goes away and you sort of like gridlock on the freeways and the highways, and you've got crazy people driving that have finished a day's work and gone home and packed the car up and headed out and driving too many hours without a break. Once upon a time back in the day, death on the roads at Easter time was just horrendous. So we kind of just kept out of harm's way. And I don't think we've changed, and we don't need to go away in school holidays now, so I'm not good with crowds anymore. So that's that, and that's a little bit of that paper still left over. So now that just completely transforms it, doesn't it? So that's the bones of what we're doing. Alright, just reaching across to grab the ink. I'll take you. So what I've done is I've got far too much stuff. I have no other choice but to admit to that. So I find it a little bit overwhelming that I'm going to make something and what inks do I get out? What blenders do I need? What stamps do I want? Where's my paper? Oh, I can't think, because you just get so bogged down. You just have all these things that you've got to go through. Oh, here's all my paper. So I've got a set of drawers at the other end there with all my tea and coffee stain stuff. And if you're going through and you've started a project and all of a sudden you've got to try and figure out where's this, where's that, which one will I use, which one won't I use. And even though I'm sort of like making fun of myself, it does clog us up. It gets to the stage where we're on overload. It's the theory of that if you put a baby in a room, in the middle of a toy room with every toy known to mankind, that baby will sit there in the middle of the room and won't move. More or less basically paralyzes because there's so much stuff. It's near on impossible to be able to make a decision. And you put the same baby in the middle of a room that's got 2, maybe 3 different things to play with, a little bit spread out, off bubble go and play happily with something it's there looking at them, and it's aware the same. It's the same with us. We get so, well, I'll speak for myself, I guess. I get so overwhelmed with all the choices that I've got that I just end up doing nothing, and because it just gets too hard to figure out what on earth it is that we think that we'd like to do. So in my immediate area, I've got like that little tray with 3 or 4 inks in it and the blenders. So for this project and maybe the next couple, that's all I will use. I've got these here, little A4 document holders that I've got a few different papers in, and sure, it sort of like takes up extra space, but I have a really brilliant system that my lovely Graham made for me, and I can just have enough around me that more than I will use, but not overburdening my brain, to be able to just get on and do. And that's how I'm approaching this issue that I've created for myself. And I guess it's just like a let's keep it simple. So what I'm going to do is I've got some seam binding here, and I'm going to bring it from around the back. I'm just going to have a nice little bow on it. So we've got that. Oh, there goes our resident young man on his motorbike, who has no regard for anybody else or his personal safety. I'm just going to sew around this and I'll be straight back. Okay, so I'm just putting some gold leaf on, and I didn't realise I hadn't turned the video back on, sorry. So what you do is you've got this sizing here, leafing sizing, and then you've got the gold leaf. And I'd like to thank my friend Sue at Paper Inspirations. I've had this and some jars of foiling for quite a long time, and I don't know, never got around to using it. Forgot I had it, I don't know. And I was watching Sue do it because I've got this new journey happening I've been telling you about, that I want to do more pretty. I tend to be vintage to grunge. Actually like to bring it the opposite way. Okay, it's almost chop that bit out because it was walk time and the lads started yelling, so we'll see how we go. I've just done some gold leafing. I would like to thank Sue from Paper Inspirations. I've had gold leafing and little tubs of foil pieces for quite a while, and I've never really used them. I've used the little tubs occasionally, so I don't know whether you're going to pick it up. I've just done little hints of gold around there, and thank you, Sue, watching her do it on her videos. I thought, yep, I'd like to do that, and I am trying to go down that path of producing something a little bit more pretty. Like I've been vintage, probably tending to grunge. Now vintage, come back the other way. I would like to do some prettier things, so that's where I'm headed. So that it is quite soft and pretty. You probably can't pick it up. I seem to be getting a lot of glare. So now this is going to be a notebook. So this is my offcuts, bits and pieces. So I've got all those. That's probably collage there. I'll probably use a bit of that. That's card. Just get out some pages. I've done a lot of these little notebooks. I've done a lot of little white paged ones as well, left over from the notebooks I make. There's actually a little book ready to go, not quite size. So I think I've got enough there. Now what I will do too is, if I've got, I hope I'm not making too much noise, rustle. So in this one I've got an encyclopedia and some tags. Just all I have to do is reach under if I'm not feeling up to doing anything. When I don't feel up to doing anything, I collage. So I've got some kitchen cardboard there, and just that should be enough to make us a little notebook. Trying to do pretty, she says, as we look at all this crunchy paper. I don't like to measure when doing these little notebooks. I think everybody has seen these made. Yep, that's our motorbike driver. Looking for an accident to happen. So I'll just do this on fast forward, and then we'll come back again and we'll see how we went. What holds our little notebook in. So I'm going to keep this so that, because you've got all that right in there, I'm just wondering whether or not we glue that down, or whether or not I'll back it. I have it like that, or lift it up like that. I think I'll glue it down. There you go. This is, what is it? It's fabric glue. And I use this when I want a really good hold, and I am gluing it over some lumpy bits, like different levels. So I've decided that this would probably be the best to get a good hold on it. So I'm going to put it over the back and I'm going to rub on it that way because I've got that gold leaf at the top. So now what we want to do, now because this is going to be a back pocket, we're either going to have to put something over this or glue this down really well so that when you're using the pocket, whatever you're putting in there doesn't foul on it. Okay, and I do like the way that's off-centered. That very unlike me, but there you have it. So that's my center there. So, okay, so the purpose of doing this is because there's no guarantee that the glue will hold the seam binding, plus it will actually anchor it into place down the middle. So like I said, this one's going to go at the back and we want a pocket it's going to be a pocket. So we're going to be putting a tag or something in here, and the last thing we want is for whatever we're putting in there to foul up on something and just get annoying after a while. And I've taken that right to the top, so once again it won't foul on whatever we're putting in there. And I haven't done anything with the back. If this was going to be a clip-in, I would now put a cover piece over that, but I'm thinking that I'm going to glue it in. So that's there, so it's going to come up to there. I'm going to do it up. On the homeward stretch we are. I've gathered up some bits and bobs to decorate our little notebook holder with notebook. So I've got a Tim Holtz phrase. I've inked around it and touched all the sticky bits, so I'm just gluing it. And I'm going to put it across the top. Now, the reason why I'm putting it across the top, feeding from the right, is because our little notebook is off-centered and it goes off to the left. I'll show you what I mean. And this is just the way my eye sees it now. So this is off center and it's wider on this side than it is that side. So for my eye to be happy, that one needs to be off to that side. But you probably aren't going to pick it up because we're going to put this beautiful little, I better not cover up that bit of the start each day with a grateful heart, I think, is something that we could all remember at times. So then our little notebook is so cute. I'll leave it like that there. Now down here I'm going to do a little bit of, I'm not quite sure, so if I put that there, because that's where the ribbon is going to go, I don't know if I'm going to put that there like that and then that. So I've got a little bundle of lavender. So I'll have that, and I want a little piece of, so I've got all my little bits and offcuts in there. Like I even keep that one because that goes in a tag. You can really use everything and waste it down to almost nothing. So this is just a little bit of, oh, it's not cheesecloth, muslin. Everybody pronounces it a little bit different. So do I want that to look like that? So I'll just pick it up. So all the agonies I went through to try and pick a paper to cover this, you can't hardly see any of it anyway. So just keep that in mind if you're driving yourself crazy trying to pick something. If you're going to be decorating it, adding to it, remember that getting really bogged down is a bit of a waste of time and angst, because if it turns out that it isn't quite the right choice, it certainly looks pretty now, but you don't see much of it, do you? I need to ink a little lighter and a little less heavy. But I am learning how, I guess it's not really learning, I'm just trying really hard to do things a little less predictable. So okay, I think the lads might be just coming home for their walk, and we're just about finished our little notebook. So let me pop the pin in there. Right, everything out of the way. So this, I should have taken a photo before we started, shouldn't I? So this was our packaging. It is now a lovely little notebook holder. It's got the cover, got our pages in there, and we've got it up there. So all we need to do now is tie it. Now if you wanted to, you could clip this into the side. All you'd need to do is just put a piece of paper on the back to back it, if you're worried about how thick your journal's getting, or if the journal's not going to be yours. What you can do is clip things in rather than glue them. I always do my bows upside down, so let's try this. Yeah, so if somebody else is going to be using the journal that you're making, or whatever it is you're making, and you're a bit worried about thicknesses, and you're a bit worried about, oh, I'm not too sure whether or not that fits in there like that, if you just clip them, with a bulldog clip, a paper clip, anything, and that way you give the recipient the option, there you go, of where they want it. So I just think that's just the cutest little thing. I hope you've enjoyed it. So that's our little notebook cover and notebook with using packaging that, well, would have just gone in the bin, wouldn't it? So I hope everybody is well. Be kind to you. Be kind to the person standing next to you. and I will see you another day. Bye for now.